What's up, everybody? John McClain here, FPS Outdoors and FPS Holsters, and today we're making a holster for a Rock Island Armory TAC Ultra High Cap. This holster is going to be a standard outside the waistband holster meant for competition shooting, and it is actually going to go on a I don't know what the hell Comtac calls it, but it's basically a TekLok Style belt loop system. So let's get it going. All right, got some of our tape pieces here. First thing I like to do is to tape off the ejection port. And then we're gonna put some tape to block the trigger guard. Like that, because I want to control the retention, not have the retention control me. From here, we're gonna do front sight channel. And let's go ahead and get I'm gonna need something in here. What can I stick in there, I wonder? That'll compress. Little wood pieces or shards that'll work. Gotta have one or two. Something like that'll work. So yeah, the channel I'm making right now, or the blocking that I'm doing right now, is for the thumb safety. So whether or not it's up or down, it'll fit inside the holster, no problem. And now, at least 5 layers is kind of what I like to go to. Actually, since this is going to be a competition pistol, I will probably do an extra layer just so I can really get the retention loose. Because for competition holsters, you typically want it to be pretty loose, and then you can tighten it up a little bit, but rarely ever are you making it to where like you can go for, well, I guess depending on what competition, right? USPSA requirements or needs are definitely a little different than like 3-gun. But if you were going to do 3-gun, then I would suggest going with something that actually has another level of retention. So now the other thing I like to do for any gun that has a rail on the bottom is to actually do a couple pieces of tape that will go, put that right here, on the rail because these little edges and corners can get caught up and like trim and cut pieces too long. Not long enough. Anyway, like I was saying, what can happen is that those little sharp edges and stuff can shave bits of kydex off over time. So, of course, overcompensated with that piece hardcore. Man, that was a really long piece. So I'll do at least 3 pieces. But again, because this is a competition pistol, probably gonna go ahead and take it to 4. Okay. And then I'll just take some scissors and cut off a little bit of extra. All right, so I got both sides prepped as far as the spacing goes. I've got the rail underneath prepped. I've got the front sight channel prepped. Now, right-handed outside the waistband means that it's going to go on the left side of the gun. And what you'll see, when I try and make it straight, you'll see there's little gaps in spacing and stuff. So, we're going to have to put things in place to help support it. I'm going to keep it, that one's a little too wide. So like some of these pieces, what they are is like the pieces of metal that I use, of aluminum. I'll put 2 together, glue them if I can, and then if I need a little bit more extra or I need to take a little bit off, then I just wrap it up in tape. And the tape adds enough depth. And then if it's too much, you can just take it right off. So that looks pretty good there. You also want to try and find a good balance. Like, you don't want the piece that's going to hold the gun up or you know, hold the belt attachment or anything up too high, because then when the gun is sitting in your holster, like, it just throws off the balance. So I try to just make sure I find the right spot. Typically it's going to be somewhere around the trigger guard for a good solid point. And with these Rock Islands, actually, because they're so heavy on the nose end, you can actually come down a little more. But okay, so we got a little. Perfect. Okay. It's funny, a while ago I would never do the side layers because I didn't really think it was all that important until I really started cranking some of these holsters out. And realizing that not everyone wants a lot of retention on their gun. Some people like to carry their guns a little looser. And who am I to deny them? Looks fine and dandy. Now the last piece is to add a retention plate. Again, another piece I didn't realize was as important as it actually is. Because before, I used to just kind of make fixed retention holsters. Like, you just used the kydex and the retention points of the firearm to create the retention needed. And, you know, if it was just going to be like an outside the waistband holster for whatever, adjustable retention wasn't a big deal for me. So therefore, why should it be a big deal for anyone else? And then, when I started realizing that it would be much more beneficial to offer that with the holsters I was making, I started using them, and now I refuse to make retention point only holsters that don't use a retention plate to it. So that is pretty much where we're at, and I got that in, got that blocked off. There's nothing over here that really needs to be blocked off. Okay, let's go ahead and throw some kydex to get heated up, and then we'll throw this whole thing in the press. Kydex in the press, 375 for 130 seconds. All right, here we go. Well, I know you probably didn't get a very good view of that, did you? Well, there we go. It's in the press now. Press it down tight as we can get it. And now we just let it cool down. All right, it should be cool enough now. Disengage clamps and make sure the mold looks okay. Yep. Pretty happy with that. All right, let's mark it up, cut it up, sand it up, and finish it up. So as you can see, there's where the blocking was. So no retention going into the ejection port area. Got the little bump there from the other part of the slide stop. That should actually be okay. We do have that black off. Now granted, that's probably gonna get cut off because I think we're gonna cut it right around here. So first cut we'll focus on is from the trigger guard down. We're pretty much gonna follow that piece of wood that we had there for the retention plate. We're not going to come straight up to the muzzle. We're going to give it a little bit of play. This, of course, will get an angle. This will probably cut at an angle as well. And important to know, if you make lines on one side, but you don't want to cut something on the other side, then don't put the lines on that side. For example, we want to cut this piece about right here, right? But if you just mark up this area and you say, oh, well, I want the holster to get cut down like this, and come up to the trigger guard area. And you take a saw and you cut right there, you literally cut this off. So, try to only draw where you can see the line as you're using your saw. So that line will come to about there. From here we do want this cut to come down right around this area, and then we'll fine tune from there. So let's head over to the saw and start getting dirty. General shape cut. Right, a little more fine-tuned with the shape, and now we're going to Dremel the outer and inner edge to get rid of any sharp edges and smooth off any rounded points and stuff. Believe it or not, that's one of the more daunting tasks, but we got it pretty much shaped and almost smoothed out. We'll go over this with really fine sandpaper by hand. But let's go ahead and get some holes drilled, get the retention pieces in there, and then we'll give it a test fit. All right, so one hole's going to be about right there. It's going to be somewhere around there. So I can actually bring this down a little bit more. Oh, come on. So now you just kind of mark the holes out, make sure you know where believe it or not, in this case, because you can see how close to the edge this hole would be, I don't think I'm actually going to drill the hole for that one. Which is fine, because you can use like 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, you know, if you want to secure it. So that's going to be the route that we end up going. Next thing we're going to do is to make the holes for the retention screws. We're going to do 2 screws for this holster. Go one there and one about right there. So you can see how rough those holes look. So you get a countersink drill bit. Just kind of cleans them up quite significantly more. And if you can get to it from this side, then cool. If not, then I'll clean some of these up. Go with some sort of a knife or blade. Last little bits up. Next thing we're going to need is some hardware. I'm actually going to use different screws in that butt. So we'll go one. And third one down here. Actually, I'm curious, what does this look like? Yeah, we'll go with the... Oh well, let's check and see. Let us see what this screw situation looks like if we would put these in instead. Oh yeah, much better. So we're gonna go with these. All right. That was dumb. I've never actually tried to do it that way. I don't know why I tried to do it that way this time. I believe. Nope. That's 1.25 inches. Inch and 3/4. As you can tell, I don't normally use this this belt system from Comtac very often, but this customer wanted, or he's attaching it to a core belt. There we go. So you clip it if you want to lock it, push it forward, and it won't come undone. Slide over, push in, and it unlocks. So that's set there. Next, we're going to go for some retention hardware. Clean up these edges a little bit by hand, and then we'll the final fit. All right, so remember all this hard work we did? Yep. Let's just undo it now. Undo it all. Because it doesn't matter. Keep everything off. But careful not to, you know, like break your props or anything like that. Any of the blocks that you've made. And let's see. Oh yeah. Awesome. Fits. I don't need that. See, so we actually didn't even need that blocking. Typically, actually, normally, I guess I would do that for pieces that have to have additional retention. All right. Trigger guard is completely covered, and we got plenty of space to apply some retention. And we can crank it down. That's that's about as much retention as you'd want for a competition pistol. Actually, that's more than what you would want for a competition holster. Loosen it up and there we go. Push in to unlock it. Slide over your belt, clip it in, lock it in place. Whoa, almost knocked the phone off. And well, there you go. This has been how to make a holster with FPS holsters or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is a holster for the Rock Island Armory TekLok Ultra High Cap. I'm John McClain with FPS Holsters. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you got any questions or anything like that, please hit me up in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because it kind of helps. And I thank you so much for watching. I really do. I hope you found it fun and enjoyable and all that whatnot. And until the next video, I have 2 words for you. Made in America. Take it easy.